Good morning, gang. Good morning. Welcome to this week's altcoin video. Obviously, if you're new around here, then every Tuesday we throw out some altcoin charts based on your requests down below. And if we don't get many requests down below in the comment section, then we'll put a vote out on Twitter. So remember, if you want to see your altcoin featured next week, make sure to leave a comment below, or go drop a comment on our Twitter page. First things first, remember everything we discussed today is not financial advice. This is just for educational purposes only, and it's my view of the markets. Now we've got that said, let's jump into it. So what we're looking at today, well, today we're going to be looking at chilies and sushi, because they were the most requested altcoins that we have. But first and foremost, let's take a quick look back on what we were talking about last week. So last week we were looking at QNT and INJ. So where were we last week? Well, last week we'd just seen this high put in, and at the time we were talking about in the video, in fact I think we've got a quick screenshot down here somewhere, maybe this one. Here we go. Yep, here's a screenshot. So let's make this full screen so you guys can see. So where we're looking, we'd seen the high had been put in at the value area high of the overall range, and then we were looking first and foremost at the point of control. If the point of control didn't hold, we were looking at this first consolidation here, roughly around the 0.5 fib, and if that didn't hold, then we'll be looking down at the golden pocket and this consolidation here. What we saw is we didn't actually get any reaction off the point of control. We just went straight through it, and we were talking about on last week's video. I'll leave a link to the video at the end of this one. Because this was a thin move on the way up, I was saying at the time that I wasn't very confident in this point of control. And this is what happened. We came straight through it. If we zoom in a little bit more, we came straight through it. We came back up, back tested it, and back down. And ultimately, we found support on this 0.5 fib, which is this first consolidation here. Since then, we've tried going back up to the point of control, had a slight rejection, and now we're just on a low time frame we're ranging. So what could happen here? Well, quite simply, get above this point of control, and you're looking for this value area high again. Get above this value area high, and like we said last time, I'd be looking at this consolidation here, roughly around the $300 mark. Failure to get above, and quite simply, I'd be looking to come back down and probably come back down to this local golden pocket. If there's no support at this golden pocket, then I'd be looking for lower within this consolidation here, around by the 886. Because as we can see here, we've got a lot of volume down here, and then should that fail, then we're looking back down at this value area low again, because once again we've got very little volume down here. Okay, very simple. The other one that we took a look at was INJ. We were talking about obviously the overall big picture, and then we were talking about the low time frame range that we were forming. Let's zoom into this low time frame range, shall we? Let's get rid of that a little bit. And let's have a look. So obviously, price was up here last week. So we'll get a bit of a screenshot. Which one is it? Is it this one? Yep, here we go. So this is the screenshot. So what we're talking about, option one would be another swing failure pattern of the highs, which we've seen obviously time and time again, deviation, and then a reclaim back in. Or if price does drop from here, then we'll be looking at this value area high. If this value area high doesn't hold, then we'll be looking down at this EQ. And then ultimately, if that EQ fails, then we'll be looking down at this point of control. And what's happened since then? Well, obviously we've retraced. We did get a small bounce. This is obviously on the 4 hour. We got a small bounce off the value area high. Bounced up, came back down. We've just front run this EQ. Come back up, and now we're hovering around the value area high once again. So same plan in place for this one. If price doesn't hold here, back down to this EQ. If this EQ fails, then I'll be looking back down to these lows. If that fails, then point of control. And obviously below that, you'll be looking at value area low, or ultimately your range lows. Reclaim this, looking up to the range highs, above the range highs, with a clear breaking market structure to the upside. Then once again, we'll be looking, like we said last time, zoom out again, back up to this sort of level here, roughly around 480, call it. Get into there, then you're looking up at that point of control again, around 650. and above there, then obviously you'd be looking up to the value area high of this local range at the top here. So yeah, that's just a quick recap on last week. So it's still level to level, nothing's really changed on INJ. QNT, obviously, eyes are on QNT here. Either another retrace or back up to the value area high, get above that, and then we're looking up at that 300 mark. But on to today's altcoin requests. So Chiliz. Now, admittedly, I am still in a trade on Chiliz, and I'm still in a short trade. I have taken a decent amount of profit so far, and if we do go lower, then happy days. And if price does go higher and stops me out, then again, no hard feelings. But we'll talk about that now. So yeah, we're still in a downtrend. We did, this is the daily chart. We did have obviously this low range forming here. We got a high, we got a higher low, we got a higher high, but then we've come back down and we've taken this low. So what's next? Well, this could just be another deviation below this range here, and then now we're coming back up towards the highs, or ultimately this could mean a further breakdown. So let's throw on some volume profile so we can see where we're at. So first and foremost, we'll throw on volume profile of the overall highs. We can see the point of control coming in here, which is roughly, 24 cents, give or take. So that's the first major resistance to deal with. So if we zoom in a little bit further, shall we go on a 4 hour? Can we fit that on? Yes, we can. Right, so we can see here, price has come down. We've gone below this value area low, reclaimed, dropped below it again, and back into it now. So, like we were saying, maintain this bullish structure on the local time frame. This is the 4 hour at the moment. Obviously, we have created a high, a higher low, higher high. If we can maintain this, then I'll be looking ultimately back up at this point of control. If price does take out these lows and starts coming back down, then let's have a look where we could be coming down to. So first and foremost, we can see here on the volume profile, we've got a decent bit of volume around this consolidation here. So this is, let's throw it on a range tool. So we can see here, we do have it's best to draw this one here. So we do have a local range down here. So again, this is still, this is on the daily chart, so this is still a high time frame range. So if we do take out these lows, then I'll be looking back down to this level here, which this will be, call it 14 cents for easy numbers. Lose that, and then we're breaking into this structure here. First and foremost, I'll be looking at the EQ. No support at the EQ, then I'll be looking down at the overall range lows. Let's throw on a fib. There we go. So what we've got lining up here so far. So okay, so from the overall lows, is this accurate? Yep. From the overall lows, obviously we've got the golden pocket, which is just below here. But under here, we've got no real confluence because we've got no real fibs lining up with the other structure. So in this instance, a fib pull is not actually that helpful. What have we got lower? Right, okay, so this is interesting. So, because of how Chiliz came up in the first place, obviously this was quite a parabolic run. We can see here from effectively the breakout, we're looking at roughly around here. So, Chiliz did go on a bit of a crazy parabolic run of like 4,216%. Now, the downside when altcoins or any crypto or any asset goes on a parabolic run like that is it leaves very little structure behind, and ideally you want structure, because if price returns to it and there's no structure, then it's going to drop, and it's going to drop fast. So what does that mean? Well, first and foremost, we've got this here, so this is what we need to be looking at. We also have this consolidation around here. Now if we throw on an overall volume profile to this, so we'll see. So we can see, obviously, we've got the bulk of the volume is down here, which is pretty obvious because this is the accumulation phase. And then, obviously, we've had a parabolic run. But what we can see here from the volume profile, it's very hard to see on this screen because it's so small. But we do have some volume coming in around this consolidation here. So if price does end up, and obviously this is a long shot, but if it does come back down into this range and comes all the way through, then first and foremost, I'll be looking at hopefully that area holding some support, which this is roughly coming in roughly around 5 cents. If that fails, then I'll be looking back down into this consolidation here. Now this consolidation here, you'll be looking at around 2 cents, and obviously any lower than that, and you'll be looking into this range here, most likely the point of control, the overall point of control. To the upside, let's have a look on a bullish structure. Let's just clear up some of these squiggles. Now what happens if price moves up? Well, if price moves up, let's get rid of that. There we go. So if price moves up from here, then first and foremost, as we've said, we've got the point of control to look out for. Then we've got these highs here to look out for. You know, something that keeps happening in the crypto market at the moment, and I've said it on my Bitcoin videos, is crypto at the moment's got a tendency of just grabbing liquidity and turning. So one thing to look out for, if price does end up getting above this point of control, then you could look for a liquidity sweep of that and then a further pullback. Get above that one, we could get a liquidity sweep of this one and a further pullback. Now what we can see with this one is that we've got this high volume node here. So there's a lot of action at this level. So chances are if price comes back up to this level, then we're going to see the similar sort of reaction at this level. And I'm not saying that's going to be a full-blown, if that does come up here and it's going to be a full-blown reversal, but I'd be looking for some form of reaction here, because that's showing that a lot of people have got into positions around this level. So obviously if price returns there, they're looking to either get out of those positions or either add back into their positions. You know, there's many things, you know, you just use your head. Above that, then it's fairly thin up until this volume starts coming out here. So you'll be looking up at these sort of levels here, which is roughly around 42 cents. So that's what we'll be looking to the upside. If we throw it on a Fibonacci tool, we can see here we've got the golden pocket around this consolidation here. So if price does end up flipping bullish and creating an uptrend here, then this would certainly be a region I'd be looking to take profit on any potential longs. Okay. Above that, you've got your value area high here, which also lines up with your 786. You've got a bit of confluence there. But if price does start coming up to these sort of levels here, then knowing the crypto market, chances are you'll be looking to target these kind of highs here. Because it wouldn't necessarily make sense just to target this first high. You'd be looking to take the liquidity all the way up. And obviously you've got all these stops here that you could run. Obviously above that, then yeah, chances are you're looking, you know, back up the original all-time highs and potentially beyond. But again, it's level to level. The overall environment, you know, Bitcoin, stock exchange, everything it's a level to level environment. We are in a bear market if you didn't know that. And let's not forget that. So it's not a time to get greedy. Yes, people tell you and people will scream at you, you know, that bear markets are the time to accumulate and build. But for me, I want to see some major high time frame structure change. You know, what does that mean? Well, if you don't watch our Bitcoin videos, then you're probably going to be a bit confused by that. But quite simply, what I'm looking at on a high time frame is I want to start to see this. I want to start seeing higher highs and higher lows, high highs, higher lows, high highs on a high time frame structure. You know, this could have been promising. And if you got in here and you managed to catch that long, you know, around the point of control, this would have been an excellent take profit region. And if you are still overall bullish, then potentially you could have added back in at your value area low, looking to go higher and maybe start this new structure. But for me, you know, I want to see a clear structure in process before I'm going to start accumulating any altcoins or Bitcoin for that matter. You know, until Bitcoin turns around and starts looking like it's in a bullish environment, I'm not looking for bullish altcoin players. You know, the altcoins that are pumping at the moment, again, it's back to your meme coins, it's back to your NFT coins, you know, anything attached to the metaverse or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, they're pumping. But again, this happens in bear markets. This happens. You can go back through the history of crypto and you will see that random shit coins just pump. You know, and how do you find those? Well, that's not for me to tell you, because I'm not into that kind of thing. You know, there are much more educated altcoin traders than I am when it comes to fundamentals and finding good teams and good projects. I just trade from the charts. So for me, the charts are telling me sideways. So all that means is don't get greedy on your trades. You know, if you're shorting a level, you're taking profits at smart levels. So this one, the short that we're in from up here, sensible, take profit. Now we look to see if it continues lower or it continues higher. So it's level to level. Very simple, level to level. We're just not getting greedy. We're not in that environment. You know, in a bull market, you know, back in the run up to the all-time high for Bitcoin, on the run up to 65k, you know, everything just went that way, and it was so easy. You're just long. And yeah, you might get a pullback, but then you see the bull market continuation. But when we're in a sideways / down market, every pump for me is an opportunity to short. That's all it is. Now, does that mean it shorts and continues going lower? Not necessarily. It means you take a short and you take your profits at your next support level. And if you are long in these moves, you're taking profits at your next resistance level. Yeah? Nothing overly complex. So yeah, that's it really. So Chili's to the downside, lose this value area low. I'll be looking about this range here. Acceptance into this range, EQ, range lows. If that does go, then we'll be looking back down here at this, roughly around this 5 cents region. To the upside, point of control. These highs here is the target. Those highs there is the target. And then above that, then you'll be looking at this consolidation here. Okay, so that's Chili's. So that's both the long and short scenario. Sushi. Next coin. Let's have a look. Sushi. Well, sideways. Let's first and foremost, let's throw it on a volume profile of the whole move and let's see where we are. Okay. So, if we let's have a look at this, shall we? Right, well, looking at this, we've got a nice sideways range bound environment. So this is looking on the daily charts. Let's zoom up here. So this is the current range that we're trading. There we go. Nice. We've got respect to the value area high. We've got the respect to the point of control, obviously. This was last week. You know, we came up to the value area highs, tagged the value area highs, retraced back to the point of control. Fairly standard stuff. And now we're hovering just below the value area high here. So, how we're trading this? Well, quite simple. It's just, again, it's level to level. It's sideways. It's boring. It's not. If you're not a range trader, you'll hate this environment. And if you're not a range trader, then you know, I'd argue with you, why the hell are you trading this environment? You know, this is for range traders. This is for experienced traders. This isn't for, you know, set and forget long only traders. So right now looks like we're having a slight pullback. First and foremost, I'll be looking at this EQ here, which this is roughly coming in at around 133, give or take. Failure to hold, then back down to this point of control again. Lose that point of control. We do have around here, you know, for any order block traders, you've got a zone around here, and lower than that, you'll be looking at, you know, your 110 at your value area low, and then ultimately your range lows. To the upside, flip on top of this value area high, then looking for your range highs. The next thing to note is obviously we have got this perfect touch the range highs here, so therefore what we can assume is we've got stops above this. So what could happen here, let's just get rid of that one and potentially that one, maybe. No, that one. There we go. So if we do come up here, then what you could be looking for is a deviation, swing failure pattern. You got a trigger there for a short to continue playing this range. Very simply, they meant to do that. Below that, if price does break down and takes out these lows here, then I'll be looking down at this macro point of control. And obviously this point of control comes from inception, which is around roughly 60, call it 65 cents for easy numbers. And below that, you'll be looking at your value area low at 47 cents. So this level, and maybe that level, if that point of control doesn't hold. Now, this point of control has not been tagged for quite some time. Let's throw it on log so we can see this better. So the last time this point of control was even touched was back in November 2020. So that's a good few years ago now. So as usual, like I teach my guys when it comes to volume profiles, if price does break down to this level, then the first reaction with this level, now bear in mind this is a shitcoin, so it's, you know, it's not as liquid as Bitcoin or Ethereum. So I wouldn't expect the reaction necessarily to be perfect. So, you know, I'm not saying, you know, you set a limit order here with tight stop loss and then hoping for, you know, big reaction there. You want to see it in real time. If you do get a reaction in real time and price does come back down here and you get a good reaction there, then you got an opportunity there for a long. If you get no reaction there, then ultimately I'll be looking down at this value area low. But the first time price touches a point of control, or a naked point of control in this case, because it's not been tapped for a couple of years, then I'll be looking for some sort of reaction. Okay, so that's the downside. Let's get back on that. To the upside, let's just hide this now. To the upside, we've got no real. That's okay, so we do have a lot of volume here. So to the upside, if price does manage to successfully break out of this range, let's just get rid of some of these squiggles, make things easier. Now if price does get out of this range here, then ultimately I'll be looking back up into this consolidation here. So we can see if let's make this clear as day for anyone that's not very clear on this. So I've been tempted to treat that as a standalone range. Yeah. So price comes up here. Then I'll be looking at these lows here, first and foremost, which is around 277. Get acceptance back into that range. Looking up at the EQ, it's around 372. And above that, then ultimately the range highs, which you'd be looking at around 512. Again, level to level. So if you are long, and this does happen, this breakout does happen, then you're going to be taking profits at sensible levels. If you get a strong reaction here, then you're going to be taking some profits off. If you get a strong reaction at the EQ, you're going to be taking some profits off. If you get a strong reaction at the range high, this local range high, then you'll be taking some more profits. You know, you're not just holding on to this, hoping that this is going to move. What you're looking for is, if you are confident that this is now officially an uptrend, and now this is going to new all-time highs, well, what you're going to do is you're going to wait. So you're going to wait. You come up here, you get a strong reaction, you come back down. Then you're looking, then is this going to form a higher low? Well, in that case, then you could add back in. And then you come to your next level. Take some profits. Looking for another higher low. Add back in. And you just keep riding it up. Take profits, add back in. And that's if you're confident that you're in an uptrending environment. And that's how you do it. Okay? If you just hold on to this, you know, say for example, you've long down here and you're holding on to this, you know, what happens is if you see this breakout, you get all excited, you don't take any profits, and then price just reverses on you. It comes back down to that point of control. So it stops you out, or you hold on to it and you hold on underwater, when you could have got out in profit, or at least break even, and then bought back in lower. You know, use your head. Use your head. Trading is not that difficult, but the difficult part is managing your emotions, managing your head, not getting greedy. We're in a sideways and down environment. When you're in a sideways and down environment, you're locking profits quickly on both sides. Whether you're shorting within the bear market or you're longing within a bear market, you're locking your profits quickly. Don't get overly greedy. Okay? So that's it. Very straightforward. You know, range bound, look for a deviation potentially. Again, you could look for a deviation on the bottom side, but if you do lose this overall range, then I'll be looking at that point of control down here, roughly around 65 cents. Okay, get above that, then I'll be looking at this range here, this consolidation here. Okay, simple, level to level. Don't get greedy, don't get FOMO. Okay, obviously if you guys want to learn how we trade like this, then first things first, head over to our website, links down in the description, spitfiretraders.com. We've got access to our free Discord on here. Just click this Discord logo and you'll get into our local Discord, our free Discord even. And if you obviously you want to learn along with us properly, then come join our Copilot section or check it out. They're the prices, or you can also pay in crypto. Through our Copilot section, you get access to nearly 60 hours now of educational content, including everything from Elliott wave theory to order profile, volume analysis, simple SR levels. There's so much stuff. Harmonic patterns, how to counter trade, standard patterns such as triangles, wedges, etc, etc, etc. And we're just about to start a new series in the next coming weeks, which is going to be covering trading psychology, which is probably the biggest set of modules we will do, because they'll be the most helpful. So that's that. If you don't follow us on Twitter, links down in the description below. If you do want an altcoin featuring next week, then let us know down in the comment section what altcoin you want featuring. Don't start spamming a load. Just let us know which ones you want to see. If you enjoyed today's content, make sure you smack a like on the video and obviously subscribe. Hit the notification icon so you don't miss the next video. And until next time, gang, as you were. Bye-bye.